but most people only see that final result. And I think that goes with everything in life, right? So again, a lot of times when people are competing out on the field, when people are making, chefs, when they make their food, the consumer only sees that final product, right? They see the food that's made, or they see the game that's being played at the highest level, but they don't see kind of the numerous failures that it takes, the numerous, in the cooking, how many times you burn your hand or cut your finger, hit your arm when you're playing basketball. Just every life skill kind of involves that. So I think that's one thing that we can all kind of take out of this. I know this wasn't supposed to be a motivational thing, but it ended up being a motivational thing. So,
hey, that's another one of your skills. You're very motivational. Welcome back, everyone, to the Backrow Boys. Thanks for tuning in to another episode with us. I'm your host, Ebby Matthew. We got my Backrow Boys, Stan, the Phillips Screwdriver, Little Screwy, Mr. Popo, whatever you want to call him. That's my boy, Stan. And I got my boy, Chris Nation C-Mac. And I think that's all his names for now. But what's up, fellas? How y'all doing?
What's up,
yo? Jinx.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me okay? I got a, I don't know if y'all noticed, I got a headphone.
Oh.
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
Yeah. Is the mic actually clear?
It's clear, yeah.
Yeah, pretty good.
Nice, yeah. This is the Sony 1000 WXM4.
Oh, Jesus. They need to work on that name.
Yeah, I don't know why they came up with that. So it's nice. I literally Googled, I don't know if y'all do this or not, but I Googled like top rated headphones, and then this was kind of up there. I use a website called artings.com, and that's what I use to kind of buy all my like technology and things like that, because they go into so much detail. And this was the number one rated headphone. So I can increase the volume like this, decrease the volume, touch
Can you turn it? Can you give us a little show on it? Let me see what it looks like.
Can you stand up too?
It looks just like the what is it, Beats headphones.
Dang, it looks pretty good.
Nice, man.
Oh, that was last episode.
Yeah, that was actually a great turn. Good job.
Wait, do you have AirPods too, or is it just these?
I have AirPods, so I was thinking about actually getting these or the AirPods Max. But then when I looked at the price for the AirPods Max, it was $550, and
it's
this
$550?
was $550 for the AirPods Max. And then this one was $350. So I mean, still expensive, but it's kind of stupid. The AirPods Max, they don't fold. So like I feel like the point of a lot of these like headphones is to be portable or like travel compliant, right? So like this one, if I want, I can.
Oh, yep.
You went away, but we got this. Oh shit!
You just logged off now.
That's why AirPods don't do it.
Yeah, I think AirPods will do that. Oh God, Sony's gonna cancel him.
There goes the Sony 1000, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10.
There we go.
Oh, he's back, guys.
Nice.
See, that's a downside because it doesn't have like that as good connectivity as like the AirPods, because like the AirPods are crazy, because like when I put my AirPods in and I talk on this and then somebody calls me on the phone, it'll like automatically connect to my phone, and then when it goes to iPad, it'll automatically do it. So like the ecosystem is kind of there. This one, there's a little bit of a lag, but I can still use my phone and this at the same time.
Well, yeah. First and foremost, I did not know Air Max pods or whatever it's called. Like, I didn't know it was $550. I literally thought it was like $100. I did not expect it to be $550.
I mean, even AirPods are like 200, 300 now, right? These just the regular AirPods.
The regular AirPods like $150. The Pros are $250, and then the AirPod Max, like the overhead ones, are $550.
Damn, that's a huge jump.
No, I love my AirPods. Like I don't go anywhere without it. It's like one of my essential daily things when I leave the house.
Yeah, dude. I feel like after I got AirPods, because I used to have the wired ones, and now I'm like, man, I can't go back to that. But I was gonna say, like, I do the same thing as Stan though. Like, if I'm about to buy something, I either go to YouTube, Reddit, Instagram, somewhere. I gotta see what other people think about it before I buy it. So.
Dude, it's not even just like technology. Like, I'll do it for everything. Like, I think I was buying a water bottle the other day. I was like, what's the best rated water bottle? And then I'll kind of go in and look at and stuff like that. So
yeah,
it's literally everything.
That's so cool that you guys do that, because I'm like the opposite. Like, I don't try to Google anything. Like, I don't try to review anything. I don't try to review restaurants, movies, because my thing is like, I want to be my own reviewer. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to go into something like.
God.
Yeah, I want to like something or I want to hate something. Like, I want to.
Now it all makes sense. It all makes sense now. I was like, you probably should have reviewed that barber that you go to.
the fade, the fade. No, I think for me it's like I don't know why. So I always my wife Roshni, she always gets on to me. It's like I'm like, hey, what is this or what is that? Like, and she's like, dude, just Google it. And I'm just like, I don't want to keep Googling everything because and I started doing it. I started like once in a while, like, we'll ask it like, oh, hey, what's the closest taco stand or whatever, right? And it's like Taco Bell is 5 minutes away. I was like, Taco Bell it is. So my thing is, I'm like, man, I don't really care for things like that. Actually, I'm not a Googler, but I respect Google. I wish I invented Google, but I mean, I don't Google anything for some reason.
Dude, I love Google. I feel like I'm Googling everything. So like anytime we're making a purchase, even just like stupid stuff. Like if I'm like even in my like work meetings, sometimes someone will say like an acronym and I'm like, what the fuck is that? So like I'll just go to Google and say, what is, blah 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 blah. And one time Amy walked by and she's like, you would search that. Like, what a loser.
Hey man, y'all gotta use DuckDuckGo. That's my search engine of choice. You ever use that?
Yeah, y'all were talking about that. No, I haven't used. I mean, it's just like it doesn't share your
Yeah, it just
data,
doesn't take your
right?
data, but I mean, I'm sure it does, but they say they're privacy focused because it's crazy. If you ever go to your Google account, and you can see kind of all the information Google has on you, it's like scary. Like they have so much information on you, like every YouTube search you've done, like for the past like 10, 15 years, you can go and find every single thing, everything you've Googled, like web pages you visited, like even if you clear the history, like some of that stuff will still, but you have to take that extra step to kind of get rid of everything or see kind of what they've done. And I'm sure they sell that data to kind of other people and that's how kind of they make money on the side too, is kind of selling all that data.
But what about the cookies? Are you guys deleting the cookies?
I eat the cookies.
No, you gotta delete the cookies. That's how they don't get your information.
Cookies. I mean, you got to use a VPN.
Cookies.
You got to use a VPN.
Oh yeah, that's what I keep hearing about too. The VPN. That's what like a lot of people are doing now, like international VPNs and stuff like that.
Yeah. I haven't gotten a VPN yet. So
Yeah, so
if you got a link, Stan, drop it.
Yeah, there's a lot of VPNs. You got to, I think the big thing I always tell people is do your own research because there's so many kind of different ones you can try. I don't have a VPN right now, but when I was using a VPN, it's kind of interesting because you can look up certain things in different like countries. Like I've never used it myself, but I know like there's shows like in Japan, Netflix that we don't have here. But if you connect to like the Japan server, you can kind of watch those shows like through your Netflix. So there's kind of ways you can do that too. Or same thing with like NBA. I know like if you have like NBA League Pass, you can't watch Mavs games or like local TV because they're blacked out. But if you like connect to like the Portland or like New York servers, you can watch the Mavs games because they think you're over there. So it's not local.
Dang, dude. Hey, slide into my DMs after so you can help me with this.
Don't worry, I will.
The funny thing is, so for all of our viewers out there, so right before we started recording this episode, Stan and I got here, obviously logged in and
that's crazy.
And Chris was clearly late, so good job for being late, Chris. But so it's weird because we didn't know this, but we were actually looking at the same YouTube video, and right when Stan connected to the Zoom call or whatever, he was like, I guess heard my video in the background, and I was watching this dude that reviews credit cards, and he does this like he's like a YouTube creator. Shout out to what's his name, John
Lang,
John's Finance Tip.
John's
Finance Tips.
So shout out to him, and we're gonna definitely tag him on this episode as well. But
if you want to collab, join us.
Hey, yeah.
We're talking about credit cards.
Yeah. No, pretty much the video was just talking about because I was just researching because I recently got a new credit cards, the Capital One Venture X card. So Cap One, if you're listening, hey, sponsor us as well. But no, I was just looking at the benefits and stuff like that. And it's funny because Stan was watching the same exact dude who's talking about credit cards, but it was a different video, right, Stan?
Yeah, it was a different video. It was like credit card hacks. Because I myself actually just got a new credit card too, the American Express Blue Business Plus. So Amex, if you're trying to sponsor us, please, we need all the money. So, but it's a no annual fee card. So actually, starting last year, I got very into kind of credit cards. So I do something called credit card churning, which I open up a new card like every 3 months and meet the minimum spend requirement on it just to kind of maximize the points. So literally since last October, last June, I've opened like 4 or 5 like new cards since that time. A lot of annual
I
fees.
do
A
the
lot of
same thing.
annual
So
fees.
yeah, dude, I'll open up one for me, and then I'll open up one with Amy, and I just kind of go that way. So I get to spread a bit more, but I haven't gotten a new one, but I might get I guess the best one I have is the Venture X, and that one's nice. But I'll probably get the Sapphire Preferred or Reserved, just because the bonus, like last time I got it was like 4 years ago, so if I get it again I can get that bonus. I feel like the Chase one is pretty nice, like it's like best bang for your buck too, so probably get that one again. Really, I would get the Amex Platinum, but I just don't travel a lot. Like I feel like Stan, for you it's probably like super worth it since you're like in like a different place every 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's awesome because again, I think the lounge access is the best because
Yeah.
before like the pandemic, before I started traveling to get this card, I really didn't go to the lounges, but it's like a game changer, especially these airports that have lounges, because it's free food, free drinks, like, and it's like really good food too. So it's like for the price, like for the amount of food and drinks you can get, it would be like 50, $60 all for free. So if you kind of take that into account, I think the card pays for itself for the most part.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you get like other stuff too, right? Like travel, like Uber stuff and like
Mm.
restaurant stuff and like statement credits and all that BS.
Thing is like what you're talking about, the lounge is like, dude, that is a huge game changer because before, like, when we were growing up, like our parents would travel to like India or like random places, and like we'd have to get there for like 3 or 4 hours, and you just kind of sit around doing nothing, and or you go to McDonald's and get like a $17 Happy Meal for some reason because everything in the airport is like upcharged like no other. And so when we start getting to lounges, and I used to take a lot of, like, before the pandemic, a lot of like trips with the guys, and like we used to go to the lounge all the time because it was fun just getting to the airport early because you get free food, like you said, free drinks. And dude, now it's like there's certain airports that don't have any lounges at all, and it's like now it's like, it sounds really bougie what I'm about to say, but like I can't stand when there isn't a airport lounge anymore, because now I'm just like sitting there with everyone else. I'm like, oh god, and I'm like trying to like put my hands together. I'm like, don't touch anything. Everything's
This rich guy.
yeah, it's not even. It's literally just like, I'm just like, I can't be around these guys anymore.
I know, no, I feel that.
Where's the food?
Well, that's how I feel with like Clear and Pre-Check. Like, if you don't have one of those, like, I'll look at the normal people over there waiting as long as line.
Yeah, I think like that sometimes, but I also think the other way. So when I went to Venture X's lounge, I walked in and it was like me and Amy, and I'm like, hell yeah, let's get as much as we can eat and drink, And then there's people that are like sitting there with like a newspaper with glasses on, look like they're like billionaires. I'm like, why the fuck am I here? Like, should I be here? But dude,
how was the Venture X lounge? Was it awesome?
Oh, dude, it's so nice because it's like I haven't seen the Centurion, but I know the Centurion one's really nice. But I went into the Capital One, and it's like kind of like a view of like you can see some of the planes sitting out, and you can kind of see like from a distance. It's not like an amazing view, but it's kind of cool, And then like they have like some beers on tap that are like special for them. They have some like meals. The meals aren't bad, but they have like I think you get a massage. I think there's like a Peloton thing, and you can shower there. Like there's a lot of shit you can do. But I was gonna say, like, the nice thing or the cool thing with the lounge too is like it makes the whole airport experience more fun, because you're like, okay, if I'm gonna go early to the airport, at least I can go to the lounge. Or it's like, hey, like instead of waiting, like I can like take advantage of this free food. So it just kind of like jumpstarts your vacation. So that's kind of fun for me.
No,
I think the nice thing about the Capital X or the Venture X lounge or the Capital One lounges is it's still newer. I think there's only like 3 in the United States, like Denver, here, and Dulles, like Washington, D.C. The thing about the Centurion, it's so like saturated sometimes. Like there's so many people. I think they're changing actually in early next year where you can bring a guest. Like right now you can bring up to like 3 people, but starting next year it's like $50 a person you want to bring in. So it kind of sucks for families, but it'll make the experience of the lounge a little bit better. But yeah, enjoy it while you can now, because before people start getting the Venture X, like I think the Capital lounges are going to be a lot more chill.
No, it's I have a funny story. So I've been to the Centurion Lounge, and we went for one of my buddies' bachelor parties. And so we started in the lounge at Centurion, and our friend Alvin, a lot of people know Alvin in the show now, but he got us in, and he kept on getting like a few people in at a time. And so we're just hanging out, like having a couple drinks, and we're like, oh man, we need to start like boarding the plane. So we're about to leave, and we're like, hey, let's just take, one more drink and then go. And so we're like closing up and everything like that. And so the guy mixes like 4 or 5 drinks. And so we're about to take it real quick and go. I like somebody called my name. So I turned really quickly and then I turned back and my hand just went like across for some reason. Dude, it knocked all 5 or 6 of the drink glasses and it shattered everything. And like I'm looking at the bartender's looking at me, and then all my friends, I'm like, what did I just do? Why did I just do that? And the bartender, because obviously you don't pay for these things, right? And so I left him a tip or whatever. And then I was walking around. I literally turned and he's like cleaning up the glass. He's like, so I think it's true. Like they should limit the number of people in there. But I'm not saying limit me or anything. I'm just saying one of those things like
they need to ban your ass.
Yeah, it was like a freak accident. So,
yeah,
next time we
freak
get
accident.
those pictures, they'll be like, "Don't allow this person in."
like,
or tie him down.
Yeah, but no, I'm telling you, those are amazing, man. So I've never been to Delta Lounge. I don't know if that's like cool or not. So
I heard that. I think that's the Sky. Apparently, they're like huge. The Delta Sky Pass lounges.
Yeah.
But I'm Team Southwest. Team Southwest. Shout out, boy Charles.
Yeah, I wish Love Field had a lounge. That would be epic, dude.
See, I love flying through Love Field Airport for Southwest flights, but I can't stand like just sitting out there and having Starbucks or whatever. I'm like, I can have Starbucks any time of the day.
Man, I wish Dallas Fort Worth was closer. Like it's just like an hour.
It's so far.
It's a journey just to get out there.
Yeah, it's hella.
It's kind of close to you, right, or no?
For me?
Yeah.
No, it's still a good 45, 50 minutes away from me. So
Jesus.
Is Love Field close to you or no?
No, it's even further.
You might as well just drive to wherever you're going instead of going
Dude, where I live in Little Elm, nothing is close to anything. I'm further away from anything now. So
you said they're doing some construction at your house, right?
Yeah. So this week has been pretty crazy, man, because it's like we're renovating our kitchen, and so we're pretty much like expanding and painting and changing cabinets and whatnot. So we've been like going back with, I mean, you guys noticed the background, like there's a more rock poster because that was my mom's house and now I'm back in my house or whatever. And so, yeah, it's been a crazy like back and forth, but yeah, man, it's been crazy. Like just working with different types of contractors, kind of understanding they're like working with them to give them our vision on what we want in our kitchen and, what to match with and throughout our house and stuff like that. So it's been very interesting, but we're coming to the finish line. We're coming to the end game that everything's pretty much done. So this week is the last phase of just taking care of the flooring. And then we're pretty much back to a normal lifestyle. But it's been crazy, man. Like sometimes I'll like sit back and kind of watch them, like how they do things, because I've always been interested in like handyman work. I wouldn't say I'm the best handyman, but I like to kind of get my hands dirty, so I like to do that because my dad was really big into that when we were growing up and stuff. So he'd always like do a project around the house. And I know Chris's dad was really into that too, because I think Chris's dad helped like a lot of things around our house when we were growing up too. And so shout out to him.
Shout out to Dumbun.
Yeah. But yeah, my dad was really into it. And so like when I started, obviously getting my own house, it's like I started wanting to do things around like myself just to try my best to do it. And so when I was watching these contractors do it, I'm like, man, like how do they know how to measure this? And how do they know how to like make sure this is the right size for everything? Because I feel like the way my mind works is like, I don't know if I can do all those things at one time, and we had like 3 or 4 different teams. We had like a countertop team. We had like a cabinets team. We had flooring team. I was just like, my goodness, there's so many teams, but it's like super grateful for them. And, shout out to them for doing such a great job. And maybe I'll post like some before and after pictures on here, but
yeah, do it.
Yeah. But it's crazy because like, I was just thinking, man, like how do you get into that type of skill? Like maybe they grew up doing it like in their families or whatnot, but it's like that skill, that type of mindset, that type of creativity, like that's like awesome. Like I wish I had that kind of skill. I think I have a little bit, like a real 1-2% of it, but I was kind of wondering, like you guys like wish you had that type of skill, or do you have that type of skill, or maybe have an experience like that?
Well, I was gonna say, didn't you like change out your toilet one time or something?
I did. That's
Dude, that sounds hard.
Yeah, and for all the viewers out there, just a little context. I didn't explode. I didn't break the toilet. I didn't make the toilet.
You shitted so much.
Yeah, no problems there. It just because of the crazy ice storm that happened in Dallas, like 2 years ago, and that's what, like, for some reason our toilets froze and it just shattered. It's a long story with that, but
it's just some crazy shit.
I was trying to find a plumber, and I think I texted you, Chris. I was like, "Hey, is your dad here? Is he busy?" And then I think he came back to India or whatever. And so I was like, "Man, who am I gonna call?" Like I didn't know who the hell to call. Finally, I was like, "Did I just figure this out myself?" And so I YouTubed it, and it was like, it was actually pretty simple. So that's what made me kind of want to get into it more. I'm just like, you know what? Let me try to see if I can start doing things around the house, but responsibly. Like I don't want to be doing like electrical and then shock the hell out of myself. So.
Yeah,
I wish I had skills like that. So actually, we had like a handyman uncle come, and like he fixed a bunch of our things around my house. So I don't know if y'all remember like a couple of the first episodes we had. I would always have my like siren going off or like the fire alarm.
Thank God.
One time he came, he replaced like every single like fire alarm in our house. Like he replaced my toilet seat. My toilet seat was kind of broken, so we bought the toilet seat and we paid for like the labor and things like that. He installed like a surveillance camera outside my house, so he did a lot. So we had like a sink that was broken, like he fixed it. And of course, if we really took the time, we probably could have done it. But that's when I think is like, man, like I'll give you a perfect example. So I have a Ring camera outside, and me and one of my friends, we spent like a whole day, like 6-7 hours, like installing that, like drilling through the wall, like figuring out the wiring and stuff like that. And we eventually did it. Like after we did it, we felt so good. We're like, man, it's nice to accomplish something with your own hands because you have that great feeling. But then I told him afterwards, like, if I could do this again, I would pay the $70 for somebody to install it in like 20 minutes. Because like as much as good as it made me feel, like I value my time too. I was like, I could learn this skill and I could do it. But this professional, I'd much rather pay him and do an amazing job than my shitty ass work. It looks good. It looks good. I'm not saying it looks bad, but that's kind of where I fall into it. But I feel like, there are some skills that I need to do. I truly don't know how to change a tire, right? I've done it like once, but like, I feel like if I had to do it again, like I would have to watch YouTube videos and how to do the jack and kind of do this whole process. So there's some life skills I wish I knew and I should kind of learn. But I think we also live in a society where it's so easy. Just call like the roadside assistance and they'll come in like 20 minutes. And of course you have to pay for that. So that's kind of the pros versus cons about it too.
But the crazy thing you brought up with the time thing, it's like, in 20, 30 minutes, you'll get like the roadside guy to come, but you won't even feel the 30 minutes because you can just pop on your phone a TV show and they're like, oh, okay, 30 minutes. Bye. I was like, oh, the guy's here. My tire's changed, So.
That's true. And it's just safer, right? You can sit in your car, let them take care of it. And they'll probably do like an excellent job at it compared to us. Like, I mean, not like ours would be horrible, but it's just like, maybe like a 70% job compared to theirs, like 95, 99%, right? So
we're going to be driving back and the wheel falls off.
Just sliding through 635.
Oh man,
I'm trying to think what skill I have. I mean, I would love to be a handyman, but I'm just so scared. Like Amy will like mention like random stuff. Like one thing she's been talking about is like putting shelves up because she's like wants more storage. Every time she mentions it, I just kind of like change the topic or ignore it. But I'm just like, it'd be so nice if I could just do it because it's like it would be save so much money, But I'm like, what if I like make a hole in the wrong spot where there's not the like the stud thingy or whatever, and then it like fucking falls, and then like the half of the house falls, and I don't know. I'm just like, what anything could happen, right? But I would say one skill, like I guess not like I'm like really really good at, but I feel like better than like the average men, I guess. It's like I can cook decent. I would say like I'm not like an amazing cook, but like I can get in the or get in the kitchen and do what I need to do. Like eggs is easy. Steak isn't bad. Like burgers. I kind of find fun doing that, but I wouldn't say I'm like an expert, but I'm not bad.
Yeah, no, I think I definitely had some of your cooking. You're actually pretty good, man. So because the like those little skills is always good. Like I think for us as men, like to be able to survive. Because for me, one thing I wanted to learn during the pandemic was cooking. Because I used to watch like Gordon Ramsay videos. I used to watch Cooking Channel, and I'm just like, man, how do they do this? And then like I try to simplify it in my mind. It's like, you know what? At the end of the day, I can literally read a recipe. I know how to read, and I can just follow that. And I was like, okay, just make it simple. And I've recently been learning that like a lot of times when you train your mind to do something, you can just start doing it. Because I think your body will give up first before your mind does. So I was like, you know, screw it. And especially during the pandemic when we weren't able to see each other, nobody in the world was able to see each other. I'm like, okay, the only thing we can really do is now I think about it, I can't even remember how we even got groceries. We weren't were we allowed to go to grocery store? I don't remember. It's been so long now, but
I think we got to go outside.
we were, right? Like I forgot it. I think about it, I'm like, what
Yeah,
like, I don't
I think we
remember.
did it. We just couldn't go early in the morning because that's when the elderly were supposed to go.
That's
But
right. Yeah, something
That's
like
crazy. That's crazy to think about it. Like that's the time we lived in. Like we were restricted. Like when we go out, I feel like there's like a curfew at one point too,
Yeah,
right?
there was a
Or-
curfew. Yeah.
it was a curfew. And it was just
But I
weird.
feel like that was because like the protests and stuff, right? And
Right.
that's crazy.
That
That all
too.
happened during 2020. Oh man,
That's
there's just
true.
so much. That was a crazy time.
I mean, it was a crazy couple years, and for everyone, it felt like I was just like, my God. But
That's
yeah,
true.
during that time, I just wanted to kind of learn how to cook and just kind of start to make, like, I had a lot of time, so I can make the mistakes and kind of learn from it and grow. And now it's like I can make certain like I can make breakfast, lunch, and dinner to survive in a sense, right? And so I can make like with Chris, I can make steak and anything on the grill, I can like take over. It's fine. And then like I guess my skills like I know how to change a tire. I know how to do like certain car stuff, like the bare minimum stuff. Like I could change the battery out. It's because I had to go like my entire life. I've like had so many like 16, 17, ripped tires. I've had like battery changes every other like 2 or 3 years for some reason. So I mean you have to, but but still, but it's like you kind of learn throughout the time. But handyman stuff is like a little bit, obviously cooking a little bit, but like I guess for me, one of the things I wish I kind of knew how to do was just what is it like? I wish I was a good like lawnmower, like because I right now I have like a team that comes and does our lawn, and like I remember when I first moved in, I bought a lawn mowing machine. I'm just like, oh man, I'm gonna knock this out in like 20-30 minutes. I'll be good to go. I'm gonna feel good about myself. Dude, for some reason the lawnmower machine was so difficult with me. Like the thing that you hold, like the handles and stuff, it would not stand properly, and I tried to like screw it in right. I'm like, what's going on with this damn machine? And so I kept on trying and finally got it like revved up, and I was like, you know what, the handle's moving up and down, but let me just keep riding it out, and like it keep giving out. Then I realized I never put any oil into the machine, so it's literally just revving and revving, and eventually burned out. And I was like, and it took me like 2 hours just to kind of get through it. So I ended up like hiring a team. Dude, these guys knock it out in 15 minutes, front and back. I'm watching them. I'm just like, man, like I should be out there.
Dude, they're amazing. They'd knock that shit out quick. It's funny you say team though. It's like mine's just like one dude. We make it sound like so professional.
Mine's like 2 people.
Yeah, mine's 2 people too. I have 2 people, and they do it so fast too. I'm like, man, it's crazy.
Yeah.
The same thing, if we did it, it would take like an hour probably, right, to kind of do that. And the nice thing is they clean everything afterward too, so it's not just like mowing and it's done. Like you have to get rid of it and then you have to throw it away. Like that's a lot of work in itself too.
Yeah.
But that's like, it's a craft, right? So they do it so much, it's just like a nature to them now, right? So
yeah, they
like
do it like how
we
how we drive with one hand. That's how I feel like they rotate that shit. They're like one hand like moving that. I'm like, damn. I was like, show off.
Do your people have the manual ones or do they have sit ones where they drive?
It depends. Like, so mine has 2 guys too. So I think the younger person, I see them riding it, and then the older guy, he just goes through quick and just doing some tricks behind the back and stuff.
Yeah, and man, I'm telling you, man, like it's very impressive what they do. I mean, hey, shout out to those guys. So.
Yeah, killing it,
Speaking of
especially in this
lawns,
heat.
do y'all ever like wish? Because my thing is like, man, if I didn't have to, because it adds up, like getting the lawn mowed like every couple of weeks, right? I was like, man, like, but I was just trying to find a way to cut costs. Like, have you ever thought about getting like artificial grass, like turf, or like, have you all seen those before?
Yep.
Okay. Because I was thinking about it, I was like, man, that would save so much money. But then they were saying if like you have pets or like they poop or it gets stained, it's so hard to kind of get out. And a lot of time homeowners are not gonna like let that slide. They're like, no, you gotta have like grass.
Dude, so Roshni's cousins, they both in both their homes they have turf. And dude, so yeah, they don't have any pets or anything like that. So I agree, like if you have pets, it's probably not best for you guys to get it. But dude, if you don't have any pets and you just have small kids running around, dude, turf is the best thing in the world because they have like a basketball court in their backyard. So we're like shooting around there, and then you can like throw the football on the turf, and these kids are doing like 40-yard dashes. I'm like, man, like I grew up with like this real grass. This stuff sucks. Now these kids have these turf grass or whatever, and it's awesome. It feels so soft for your legs. You don't have to wear any shoes outside. It's amazing. So
Well, that's kind of
Yeah.
a bus. It's not really that good because I don't know if you've seen MetLife Stadium in New York. So they're
Oh yeah,
turf field, but
yeah,
so many people are getting hurt there because of the field. It said, like, I think Sterling Shepard, he just like tore his ACL
that's right.
just for the turf itself. And then I think Odell tweeted out, he's like, "Hey, y'all got to change this. Like, y'all got to go back to
He
like
wasn't even
natural
running full
grass."
speed either. He wasn't even running full speed.
Mhm.
He was just like, I think he was like kind of just jogging or he was blocking or something. And like, yeah, that video is pretty crazy. Like, I was like, damn, that sucks. He could tear it like that.
But
The turfs.
when we all played in Raleigh Raiders, what was that? Because we had to wear basketball shoes. Remember?
I think that was turf.
That
So
was
there's one field that was turf, and then the one field's like carpet. I don't know if y'all
yeah.
remember that.
Because
One
remember,
field is a legit like carpet.
yeah, because remember
Yeah.
when we were playing, we first like our first ever year at Raleigh Raiders, we wore cleats, but then we realized like, oh crap, we can't really play on cleats, so we end up bringing our basketball shoes, and it worked better. Do y'all remember that? And then you're right. In the next field, if we played on that one, we had to switch our turf or our spikes and whatever you call it, like football shoes or cleats. Can't come up with the name. But yeah, no, I remember that. I was like, man, what kind of field is this?
Stan, I was gonna ask, what would you say is like your skill that you are good at or you admire?
Man, I wish hearing y'all talk, I was like, man, I don't really have any skills I can think of, like, because I can't cook. I think I'm very organized and like clean. Like, I have like a task list that I'll do, and I'll be like, I get up early in the morning, and then I'll like, hey, have this to this to this to this, and I'll kind of knock them out one by one. So I feel like I'm very like driven and organized like that. So
Mm.
and then if something kind of random comes, it kind of flusters me. I was like, man, like, I need to focus on this, but I have to kind of take care of these other things first. So um, the other thing I think I'm very good at is I'm very organized. So again, I can kind of, if you give me a bunch of information, I can kind of separate it out to kind of like important stuff and not important stuff. Because I remember when I was in school, it was kind of the same thing. So let's say we had to learn so many drugs and things like that, and my handwriting is not the best, right? So I would always tell my friends kind of to write it up on the whiteboard, and I would tell them like, hey, put this list like this because these all go together, and then this. So I was good at like organizing everything, and I think that helped kind of as a collective team kind of bring everyone together as well. So that's kind of my skill. I think I don't have any like physical skills, but I think my skills are more like mental.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's pretty cool. Like being structured and stuff.
Yeah, I think I'm very structured, organized. That's kind of the best way to put it for the most part. I wish I had more physical skills, like I mentioned, changing a tire, cutting hair. I think I wish I could even like shave my beard properly. I have to go to my barber to kind of do everything because I'm scared that I'm going to cut it and then I have to shave everything. I'm going to go clean shaven.
Oh, that'd be bad.
Well, I was gonna ask you my next question. So do you think you're OCD or you just think you're just organized?
I think it's organized.
Okay.
So I think, I'm not obsessed to like, hey, if this gets out of whack, then it's going to ruin my day, right? I get a little flustered, but I feel like I may have those tendencies there. But I think overall, I'm very, very structured in kind of how I do things.
Yeah, no, I mean, honestly, that's like like a really good skill to have, being organized. Because I don't think I'm like super organized, but I'm kind of OCD clean. Like I like to have things like going through like a kitchen renovation. Like it's like, it gets me annoyed that like things are dirty or things are out of place. Like I like to, for example, if I use a plate or a bowl, I'm going to use it and then I'll wash it and put it in the dishwasher or put it right back, dry it and put it back. So that's just my mind, because I feel like I'm it helps me to finish that task and move on to the next one. So I'm kind of similar in that way, Stan. But yeah, man, that organization thing, like it's really good for like it's good for people that like in your position, like who you probably have like tons of patients throughout the day, different like issues with each one of them. So to kind of be balanced that way, I'm sure that's what really helps you kind of get through your day.
You gotta talk about your editing skills too.
Oh yeah.
Man, honestly, like, I don't know if y'all know, we can talk about this on a different podcast, but like, we should talk about like secrets that we all have. But yeah, again, I have a secret YouTube channel, and that's how I learned kind of all my editing skills. So maybe we'll share them. But yeah, during the pandemic, I didn't have a job for like 2 months. So I was like, man, what do I need to do? So one, I got in shape. So I started working out, but I was like, you know what? Let me film this. Because one big thing I always wanted to do, I think the Backrow Boys are kind of helping me do this now, is I always wanted to be a YouTuber, like a content creator. So what I would do is I had a little GoPro and I had my iPhone, and I would like record my workouts. I did this thing called the Murph Challenge. and I work out. And the most fun thing was editing these videos. And I learned so much about like editing, and that involves structure too, because you have to take out kind of all the pauses. You have to make it look good. Because again, a lot of people don't see, and even behind the scenes of these podcasts, people don't see what goes on behind the scenes with the production meetings and kind of everything that goes into this. There's a lot of work, like Toby was saying that one time, that goes into making these podcasts, but most people only see that final result. And I think that goes with everything in life, right? So again, a lot of times when people are competing out on the field, when people are making, chefs, when they make their food, the consumer only sees that final product, right? They see the food that's made, or they see the game that's being played at the highest level, but they don't see kind of the numerous failures that it takes, the numerous, in the cooking, how many times you burn your hand or cut your finger, hit your arm when you're playing basketball. Just every life skill kind of involves that. So I think that's one thing that we can all kind of take out of this. I know this wasn't supposed to be a motivational thing, but it ended up being a motivational thing. So
hey, that's another one of your skills. You're very motivational.
Yeah, I always have my sayings. I always have my sayings. I'll come up with something to kind of, raise the morale of the group. As Stan always says, a rising tide lifts all ships.
Hey, that's gonna be on a t-shirt. Put it on a t-shirt.
Put it on a t-shirt.
Put that shit on a t-shirt. I was gonna say, Abby,
rise the tide. What is it?
A rising tide lifts all ships. So when the tide rises, it's not just one ship that goes up. All the ships that are on the ocean, they can rise with the tide.
Perfect. Okay.
I guess y'all didn't like that.
That's not bad. We'll see if we can put on a t-shirt. I didn't say, Abby, I feel like the skills that you're good at, you're really good at like communication and stuff. Like, I mean, obviously like you MC or the host, but I feel like you're pretty good at that.
Who, me?
No, the other guy.
I think for me, so like I took a speech class in college, and I thought it was so stupid, but I had to take an elective, so I was like, okay, I guess this is easy.
Yeah.
And so I walked in the class, and they said, hey, tomorrow we're gonna have speech day or something like that. It's like, make up a speech. I'm like, make up a speech? What does that mean? It's like, you can talk about anything. And at this time, like I would talk about basketball like left and right. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna keep talking about basketball. And so I literally talked about basketball for like 15 minutes, right? And they somehow they liked it. I got an A+ or A or whatever in that class. I'm like, man, this is not bad at all. So like from all things that this professor was teaching me, I kind of just carried on. And like for me, like I'm big on movies and TV shows and stuff like that. So I kind of would steal their little quirks and how they kind of captivate or whatever, or grab an audience. And I try to do that. So yeah, when I MC or if I'm hosting BRB and stuff like that, I try to just bring that. But I mean, I feel like sometimes I have this nervousness because in everything I do in this life, I'm always nervous for something. It might not show it all the time, but I'm always nervous for some reason. Like anything I do, I'm nervous.
Maybe it's a Backrow Boy thing.
I think a lot of it's just having confidence, right? So when I was in school, people said literally, when you're seeing patients, or kind of this is how they taught us in school, right? Of course, you need to know the stuff, but even if you're iffy on some of the things, they said just have the confidence, because again, people can tell if you're not sure of things, because then if you're not sure of something, then they're not going to be sure of what you're, if you kind of exude that timidness, right? But when you kind of approach somebody with confidence, just act like you know what you're saying, look people in the eyes. Because I remember when I was interviewing for PA school or even interviewing for jobs, I read a bunch of books and looked up a bunch of stuff on kind of how to ace interviews. And they're really just have confidence, right? So just kind of be yourself for the most part. And I feel like once I started doing that and not kind of trying to play the game of what the interviewing is trying to get, I feel like a lot of times people just want to be relatable for the most part. So if you have that confidence and exude that for the most part, people are going to like you at the end of the day.
Yep.
Sure. I mean, because I feel like your resume for the most part kind of share your experience. So that conversation is really to see hey, can you fit in with the company? So I definitely see that. I was gonna say too, with Ebby saying like that experience you had with your communication class where you did a speech, you never thought oh, maybe I was good at this or not, but everybody's oh shit, you got an A and everybody liked it. I feel like that definitely helps, having that moment where you because I feel like, I don't know, maybe it's an Indian thing or maybe just us, but sometimes we don't notice the things that we're good at because we're just kind of either negative people or we just assume the worst maybe. But one time, let's say for me, that was a scenario too. like for one of our organizations that we were part of called SALT in college. I remember I did announcements once, and I thought I did like such a shitty job, but everybody was like laughing and had a good time, and I kept doing it over and over, and that kind of helped me see like, oh, like I actually am not bad at like this kind of public speaking stuff sometimes. But so I think it's cool when people give you that confidence, because it pushes you to see like, oh, like if people think I'm good at this, then I must not be bad. But then I also think it's like what Stan was saying too. It's like, even like, the next time I go do it, if I suck, like I can't let that like drain me, because then if you let that negativity or bad experience mess you up, then like confidence is like, if you lose that, it's like so hard to gain that back, so that's definitely good to hold on to.
Yeah. The other thing, I feel like people don't, I think we think a lot of what other people think of us, but at the end of the day, they're probably worried about their own things, because again, we're trying to kind of appease people when we're like, oh, did I make a joke, is this funny to them? But again, they're probably not even remember it, right? So at the time, they probably liked it for the most part. But again, the analogy that I like to make is, think of people's clothes, right? So there's sometimes, I remember I used to be like this, where I would kind of dread over like, what am I gonna wear? Is it gonna look cool? Like, does it look good on me? Because what are the other people gonna think, right? So, but then if you realize it, think about this. Do you remember the last thing that one of your friends, like guy friends, wore? Like,
you wore a black shirt.
Yeah, I mean, it really doesn't like stick out. So, I mean, that's all I wear. That's all I wear. No, but like when you go out and stuff, like, do you remember like what they wore? I mean, the person probably thought, man, I look good, or like I smell good with the cologne. But again, the other people really don't care. They're just, it's more about the experience and kind of those things as well. So that's kind of the analogy that I like to make is, we care a lot about what other people think, but other people really don't think about us as highly as we think they do, or as much as we think they do.
Yeah, because that's so true what you said, Sam, because we're our biggest critics, man. Like, because even in my own head, I'm always in my head all the time, just like, oh my God, was that a dumb thing to say? Was that a stupid joke? Did I just offend someone? And a lot of times, like, I'll go back, like this, like maybe because like I just want to make sure, I'm okay with someone. I'll text them privately, like, hey, I hope I didn't mean it. I hope I was just joking. He goes, oh, I don't remember what you said. And then I was like, okay. I'm like worried for the last 2 hours that I offended someone, and they don't even remember. It's like, oh, you said that? I didn't hear it. I laughed or whatever. He was like, oh yeah, I just laughed at everything.
Man, that makes me feel better though, because I'm very like in my head, like I'll think through every scenario, and some of the things I hate about my brain is sometimes I'll remember something like 10 years ago that was like might have been something that's very triggering or whatever, right? But it'll come back in my head and I'm like, oh fuck, why did I do that? But it's like no one fucking remembers that from 10 years ago, Like, why is that still in my head? But it's just like, yeah, I'm always in my head. So it's fun to see that someone else thinks like that too, but also to even like, as you guys are sharing, like, hey, like who else is thinking about this, right? Like, just let it go kind of thing. Like that's always good too.
Yeah. I mean, that's good, guys. I mean, confidence is huge. And I mean, for both of y'all, like to see you guys, because I've known y'all my entire life, obviously, and to see y'all's like confidence levels just go through the roof, it's amazing to see. So good for you guys, like in y'all's professions, personal life. I mean, I still think y'all are kind of corny, but I mean, whatever. That's a different story. So that's a different lifestyle. So.
I'll take it.
But no, confidence is a huge thing, man. I mean, like, and I always tell people, it's like, I mean, a lot of times, we just, as long as you're confident, a lot of things can go your way. Not in like, I'm not saying this in like a bad way. It's just like, be confident, be yourself, and a lot of things will just start moving towards that way. That's a t-shirt. Be you. Just be yourself.
Be you, bitch. Just kidding.
Oh,
that's a t-shirt right there.
That's a t-shirt.
Stan, I like your jersey.
Thanks, man. It's the king himself, King James.
Oh,
not
man,
the Bible, not the King James version.
Oh, that's the 23.
Are you wearing a hoodie right now? Are you cold?
Yeah, it's a little chilly in my house. I keep it cool. I always wear a hoodie. If you watch the last 4 episodes of this podcast, that's what I'm wearing.
But I guess it's like you're wearing a hoodie and a shirt, so I'm like, that looks like a little warmer than usual. But yeah, I ain't judging.
It's a little toasty in here,
The weather.
I feel like
I don't keep it cold at home, or
it's cold.
Mine's not bad. It gets kind of cold in here, so
See, I like to keep it cold because I feel like it's easier to kind of put things on like covers or kind of get yourself in the covers than it is to like take clothes off if it's too hot, right? Because again, eventually you'll be naked and have nothing and it still might be too hot, right? And then you can't do anything.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
Because I'm being naked.
Y'all sleep nude?
No,
Sometimes.
I get nervous.
No.
We're getting to the X-rated version of this podcast.
If you keep listening, you got a juicy little 5 seconds right there.
The back shot, boys.
Oh goodness. Well, hey guys. Well, to all the BRB viewers, this is one of y'all's favorite segments of all time. It's the free shout outs. So this is where a time where
Free
we
shout
out.
Finally, I've been wanting y'all to do that for so long. It finally worked out. Well, pretty much it's a time where we do a free shout out to a product, a person, a place, or that we have no affiliation with. They're not paying us. We're not forced to say their names or whatever it is. We just want to give a free shout out to this thing that we liked this past weekend, 2 weekends ago, whatever the case is, something that we want to give some light to. So I am going to go last. So I'll let one of my back row boys go first. It doesn't matter who it is. I'm assuming it might be Stan because he got a new trash can in the background. So
that's my shredder. We're gonna give a free shout out to the shredder. When you have those documents that you just don't want people to know, some sensitive material. I think everyone needs a shredder, right? Because again, there's always things. You probably have a bunch of things around y'all right now that are like, man, I don't need this, but I don't want to go into the trash because you got those dumpster divers out there. They're gonna get my information. So get that shredder. Make sure you shred all those things. Make sure you recycle it. Recycling is very important. Kind of save the earth. As Little Dicky said, we love the earth. We love our planet. So shout out to my shredder back there. It does look like a trash can, right? So
yeah, it does.
The crazy thing is, so I put a trash can liner in there, so it makes it easier to get all this stuff out. Because when you shred it, there actually ends up being a bunch of like paper dust in there.
Yeah.
So it just makes it easier to kind of get out and then use it like a little trash bag. I guess this is the other thing I want to ask y'all real quick. Speaking of trash cans, in y'all's bathroom, I don't know if this is just an Indian thing. Do y'all use like grocery bags as like the trash can liner? Or
100%.
No. Okay.
100%.
Does anybody use real like trash can liners or no? Do you know anybody that does?
No, I know people that do. Like once in a while we'll have like a cleaner come to the house and they put like actual liners. I'm like, oh wow, this is not a Kroger bag or a Walmart bag.
Yeah. We for our guest bathrooms, Amy will sometimes put like actual bags in there. But in our bathrooms, like a torn up Walmart bag or used and abused Kroger bag. That's funny. You're
shout out to my shredder.
Yeah, it's like it was meant to be. It's like it's still in the screen, so great promotion there. But my free shout out I was gonna give to. So this week, my car, unfortunately, it was having like some weird like squeakiness when I was braking. So I was like, what the fuck is this? So I took it and I got that changed. And then I was just like, man, like I should probably get a car wash. Like it has been like a good 3 years since I've done that. So I went to a car wash place and it's like one of those where you just drive through it, pay like $8, but man, it was so nice because it like cleaned the shit out of the car. And then afterwards we got to go and park and we also like vacuumed like the mats and like wiped everything down. And man, like the transformation of the car is like crazy. It's such a simple thing, but like having like a clean car, having like everything just feel so like brand new almost. It was like such a good feeling. So I want to give a shout out to those those car washes and just those places that have like the free vacuum with it. And this place also had where you can take your mat out and put it in this machine and it would like wash it for you and dry it, so it looked like spotless. So
the Q car wash,
I don't know the name, but it's on a 66 next to the big Walmart.
Oh, I know exactly where that is. I used to go there all the time.
Dude, it's nice. Appreciate it.
That's a good one right there.
Car washes.
Yeah, I love a good car wash. All right, guys. Well, so for me, I guess maybe y'all both know whatever, but like since we talked about a little bit about the pandemic in this episode earlier, but throughout the pandemic, a lot of people may have gotten, that thing that we don't talk about anymore, COVID. But for me, I personally never experienced COVID. I never got it. I've taken multiple tests, never received a positive COVID thing or whatever. So I always am a big believer. The reason why I never got COVID is because, and here's my free shout out. I take a lot of vitamins. So free shout out to my vitamins. And I have it as a picture form. And I guess, well, I'm just going to say it out loud what the vitamins I take. I take fish oil, zinc, vitamin C, turmeric, B complex, D3, B12, and biotin.
Damn, you take all
Damn.
that?
I take that daily.
Is it
Wow.
multiple vitamins or is it one pill that has all those vitamins in?
No. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 vitamin pills.
Do you put all at once or do you do one at a time?
Yeah, all at
Nice.
once. So it's like I got it in days and everything. So
Nice.
Dang,
so
this guy's old.
I truly believe that's the reason why I never got COVID. But I know Stan's probably rolling his eyes right now. He's like, this idiot. I don't think that's the case, but I believe it's the truth. I believe since I've been taking my vitamins, my immune system's a lot higher. You know, I'm not gonna lie. It's not like I wore a mask all the time, or whatever. And I try to just be healthier, try to make healthier decisions, and that made the reason why. But overall, I do believe it's because of my vitamins. So shout out to my vitamins. Still take on the daily, and to just for the people out there, for all the viewers, continue to take your vitamins. If you don't, start taking it. I'm telling you, it's gonna change your life. I feel like Stan's about to say
Good job, dude.
I have a lot to say. But I'm gonna hold off on it. I mean, in regards to vitamins, vitamins are good. I always tell people they're probably not gonna help too much, but they're probably not gonna hurt either, right? There's actually 3 vitamins that I tell people everyone should be taking that's been extensively researched. So vitamin D, fish oils, and creatine. So I think that's something that I tell everyone to take. I take all 3 of those myself.
There you go. I'm about to add creatine into my list. Another one for the vitamins.
It's a powder. It's a powder too, so you can snort it.
Oh, what? My goodness.
Whoa.
And with that being said, thank you guys for listening to another episode of the Backrow Boys. Continue to like, subscribe, share these videos, hit that notification button, hit that subscribe button. So we were looking at our analytics. We have a lot more viewers than people who are subscribed. So please, it would help our channel a lot. Pass it along. We appreciate you guys. We see you guys. We feel you guys, because we see the numbers. So thank you so much for supporting. But shout out to that, my boy Chris, my boy Stan. Fun content, fun video that we did today. So continue, to our fans out there, to our viewers, pass this along. Stay classy, stay confident, stay safe, and thanks for joining us in the back row.
Peace.